It was supposed to be a joyful evening at a small banquet hall in Stockton, California. Families gathered, balloons floated near the ceiling, and children ran across the decorated floor, waiting for the birthday cake to arrive. Parents chatted, music played, and the atmosphere carried the warmth of a community used to celebrating life's simple moments. But behind the smiles and laughter, something unimaginable was about to unfold. Something that would shake an entire city and dominate national headlines. The birthday child's parents had invited relatives, neighbors, and close friends. Many guests brought presents wrapped in bright colors. Others came with home-cooked dishes. No one in that hall imagined they were stepping into the setting of a crime scene that would soon be broadcast across every major U.S. news network. As the evening progressed, more people filled the hall. A few parents stepped outside to take calls or grab items from their cars. One of them later reported seeing an unfamiliar group lingering in the parking lot. People who didn't seem connected to the event. But the moment passed without concern. After all, it was California. People stood around outside all the time. At around 9 p.m., the lights dimmed and everyone gathered near the stage where the birthday cake would be presented. Smiles, cameras, laughter, the perfect moment. But just as the candles were lit, a sudden noise outside interrupted the celebration. A sound sharp enough to freeze the room. People exchanged quick glances, unsure of what they'd heard. Seconds later, the chaos began. This was the moment when a family celebration transformed into one of California's most shocking mass shootings of the year. The next few moments unfolded with terrifying speed. Before anyone inside the banquet hall could process what was happening, a burst of gunfire erupted near the entrance. Guests instinctively ducked, grabbed children, and rushed to find cover behind tables and chairs. The once joyful hall echoed with screams, overturned furniture, and panicked shouts calling for loved ones. Witnesses would later describe the sound as unreal, unending, and like something out of a movie. But this wasn't fiction. This was a real, targeted attack on a space filled with families and children. Several eyewitnesses reported seeing two figures approach the entrance. In the confusion, it wasn't clear whether they entered the hall or fired from the doorway, but what was certain was the devastating impact. Within seconds, multiple people were injured, and four victims lost their lives. A scene of celebration had become a scene of tragedy. In the middle of the chaos, some parents shielded children with their own bodies. Others crawled across the floor, desperately searching for a safe exit. The birthday cake, moments earlier a symbol of joy, now sat untouched while terrified guests tried to escape. As soon as the attackers fled, someone shouted for everyone to get out of the building. Cell phones were dialed at record speed. Some people screamed into their devices, "There's been a shooting!" Others could barely form words. The first 911 call was placed within seconds. But to the victims, help felt miles away. By the time police arrived, the shooters were gone, disappearing into the California night before anyone could identify them. What they left behind was devastation, injuries, and a community stunned by an attack no one could comprehend. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Minutes after the gunfire stopped, the sounds of sirens filled the air. Police cars, ambulances, and emergency responders surrounded the banquet hall. Red and blue lights flashed across the faces of survivors who had spilled into the parking lot, many carrying children, others trembling from shock. Detectives immediately began interviewing witnesses. People spoke over one another, all describing the same chaos, all searching for the same answer. Why? Who would attack a child's birthday party? Inside the hall, first responders worked frantically to treat the injured. 10 people suffered gunshot wounds, some requiring immediate transport to the nearest trauma center. For victims, whose families came to celebrate a child's birthday, would never return home, community fear spread rapidly. Parents in the neighborhood locked their doors, schools addressed the tragedy, and local leaders condemned the violence. Stockton residents, already familiar with crime concerns, now faced an unthinkable reality: a mass shooting targeting families in a supposedly safe space. Police confirmed the attack appeared targeted, though the motive remained unclear. Rumors circulated, some suggesting gang involvement, others insisting it was a dispute unrelated to the birthday party. But without confirmed suspects, everything remained speculation. Investigators reviewed security footage, studied shell casings, and canvassed local businesses for camera recordings. The footage helped piece together a partial timeline, but it still wasn't enough to identify who was responsible. Meanwhile, the story surged online. It hit major news outlets, trended on social media platforms, and sparked debates about gun violence, community safety, and rising crime in California. For the families affected, though this was not a headline, it was a nightmare. As days passed, Stockton police intensified the investigation, launching a multi-agency effort involving local detectives, state resources, and the FBI. Authorities confirmed what many feared. This was no random attack. Evidence suggested planning. The shooters knew where and when to strike, and they executed their approach with chilling precision. Detectives gathered phone records, analyzed ballistic data, and tracked the direction the suspects fled. But the attackers had been careful. Their identities remained hidden. Police urged anyone with information to come forward. Tip lines lit up with calls, some helpful, some driven by fear or speculation. Candlelight vigils formed outside the banquet hall. Community members left flowers, stuffed animals, and handwritten notes. One message read, "This was supposed to be a child's birthday. We will not forget you." Across YouTube, TikTok, and news platforms, the case drew millions of views. Content creators, true crime analysts, and journalists all dissected the known details. But unlike cases with clear suspects, this investigation was still wide open. That uncertainty only increased the public's fascination and anxiety. Police held press briefings urging calm, assuring citizens that every lead was being pursued. But without arrests, Stockton remained tense. Parents questioned whether public gatherings were safe. Community leaders demanded more patrols. Meanwhile, investigators focused on identifying the motive. Was it retaliation? A personal dispute? A targeted attack on someone at the party? Each theory opened new paths and new dead ends. Yet behind the scenes, detectives were closing in. Surveillance footage from a nearby store captured a vehicle leaving the scene. It wasn't enough for an arrest, but it was enough to build hope. The city waited. The nation watched. Weeks after the attack, Stockton remained a city in mourning. The families of the 4 victims continued to receive support, donations, and messages from across the U.S. The story had touched millions, not because it was a headline, but because it struck at the heart of every parent's greatest fear: violence targeting their children. Although investigators had developed strong leads, the public still awaited official answers. Authorities reassured the community that progress was being made, but released only careful updates to avoid compromising the case. The shooters might not have been caught yet, but detectives insisted they would not stop searching. Meanwhile, the tragedy sparked conversations far beyond Stockton. State lawmakers debated new safety measures. Community groups hosted forums on violence prevention. Some families decided they would no longer hold events at rented halls. Others vowed not to live in fear. The incident had become a national symbol of how suddenly violence can strike, and how deeply it can reshape a community. For the survivors, healing would take time. Children who once associated birthdays with fun now struggled with fear. Adults who attended the party still had flashbacks of the panic. Counselors, social workers, and local churches stepped in to help. The story of the Stockton birthday party mass shooting became more than a crime report. It became a reminder of resilience. A community that refused to be defined by tragedy stood together, demanding justice and peace. And as the nation watched, one thing became clear. Even in the face of unimaginable loss, this community would continue to fight for answers and for healing.